Hey everybody, I'm Ben Dorr, Executive Director with Minnesota Gun Rights. And if you got just a couple of minutes, if you love your Second Amendment freedoms, if you love your Constitution, if you're a patriot like we are, you're going to want to hear about the two candidates running in the August 9th Republican primary here in our newly drawn Senate District 58. Alright guys, like I was saying, I'm Ben Dorr with Minnesota Gun Rights, and our job as a Second Amendment advocacy organization is to make sure everybody at election time knows where candidates stand on Second Amendment issues. Now, in this case, we're in Senate District 58. I happen to live here in Northfield. It's beautiful. We have two candidates running for office. We have Dr. Bill Lieske and we have Jake Cordes. Now, our job as an organization at election times, we send candidate surveys to both Dr. Bill and Jake, and we asked them if they would put on paper in writing where they stand on the issues. I'm talking stand your ground, constitutional carry, all the different things that we have to interact with, bans on semi-automatic firearms that a bunch of the people on the left are pushing. It's a bunch of garbage, and that's why it's so important that candidates are willing to come forward and tell gun owners where they stand and be bold about their defense of the Second Amendment, if that's how they truly feel and how they believe. Now, we're going to jump right into this. I don't want to hold you up. So first, we're going to go with Dr. Bill Lieske, okay? So we sent a survey to Dr. Bill, and we got a 100% pro-gun survey out of Dr. Bill. He was put his name right on it, although kind of hard to read because he's a doctor. That's a joke. But we got a 100% signature on the Minnesota Gun Rights Candidate Questionnaire, and that includes red flag laws. Red flag gun confiscations allows your firearms to be taken away without due process. And now, we just had a massive federal funding bill, $750 million just got passed by a bunch of rhinos in the U.S. Senate, teaming up with the Democrats to bribe states like Minnesota to pass red flag laws. And Dr. Bill said he's 100% no, due process is important. The next question was stand your ground law. 36 states have it. It's great for it's great for minorities. It's great for everybody for self-defense. If you're under attack, you should be able to defend yourself. You know, some people like to call racism or whatever. No. Stand your ground protects everybody, and it gives everybody immunity in court unless there's proof that you did something wrong, which is very constitutional and how it should be. He's 100% in support of stand your ground law. But more than just being in support of it, he promised in writing to be a chief sponsor on stand your ground law in the Minnesota Senate. That's a big promise, and that's fantastic. So we have stand your ground law. Next, constitutional carry. So he gets a green check mark on red flags, green check mark on stand your ground, and now we have constitutional carry. Simply says if you're legal to own a firearm, you can carry that firearm without having to get a government-issued permit. Over half of the country has this. States with constitutional carry, crime goes down. It's constitutional, and it's very safe. And so he's 100% in support of constitutional carry. More than that, again, like stand your ground, he has promised to be the state's chief sponsor in the Minnesota Senate if he wins in Senate District 58. So he's 100% in support of constitutional carry. And now we have the assault weapons ban. Okay, very, very important. A lot of people go, oh, well, assault weapons are weapons of war. No, the bill that's being pushed by the Democrats in Congress right now outlaws all sorts of semi-automatic pistols, shotguns, deer rifles. It's anything but a simple AR-15 ban. It illegalizes all of those things, but it also bans all of our common hunting firearms, self-defense firearms, semi-automatic things. And so we asked him, what would you do if a so-called assault weapons ban made it onto the Senate floor for a vote? And he said, absolutely no. Absolutely no. Under no circumstances, I'm a no vote on a so-called assault weapons ban. They're not assault weapons, they're self-defense weapons is what they are. So he gets a green check mark. Dr. Bill Lieske gets a green check mark on the so-called assault weapons ban. And then we have mental health gun control. Now, this isn't a very important one because we keep having legislation pushed by the left saying we want to have doctors and so on just saying that people have mental health problems simply because of who they voted for, what they look like. If you go in and tell your doctor, I don't like the fact that I have to pay $5 gas because Joe Biden's an idiot, those things get used against you as proof that your mental health is bad. Look, if there are people with mental health problems, obviously, we already have a system in place that allows a judge to rule them, adjudicate them mentally deficient. If that happens all the time for those who have severe problems. But when it comes to gun control, when it comes to mental health in terms of gun control, no, that's a great big no. That stuff is used to target people like you and me. So Dr. Bill Lieske gets another green check mark. There were 10 questions in the candidate survey. We're not going to go through all of them right now, but again, he did answer all of them correctly, promising to be the state's leading advocate in the Minnesota Senate. It'd be pretty cool. Now, moving on, we have Jake Cortez. Now, because I live in Senate District 58, I live in Northfield, I'm very involved in the political process around here. I know both Dr. Bill and Jake Cortez. I don't know them both super well, but I've met both of them on multiple different occasions. So we're going to take all of this into account. I'm going to give you all the facts that I have and then lay out some of kind of my understanding of who they are. So Jake Cortez did refuse to fill out the Minnesota gun rights candidate survey. At first, I wasn't really sure why, and we're going to go through some of these things really quickly here, though, and I'll get to that. But when it comes to red flag laws, he wouldn't tell us if he stands with due process or if he supports red flag laws. Again, there's a bunch of Mitt Romney rhinos who voted for things like red flag gun confiscations. And actually, if you look on the screen right now, here is a screenshot of a post from Jake Cortez on Twitter saying that he really wished that Mitt Romney had been president instead of Donald Trump. So when it comes to red flag laws, it's hard to tell where he could stand, if especially when he supports total rhinos like Mitt Romney. And when it comes to stand your ground law, it's the same story. We don't know if he supports this. We don't know if he'll fight for these things. We got no answer. And again, you should be able to defend yourself. If you're attacked, you should not have to retreat or go to jail unless you tried to retreat. I've got 4 kids, 6 years old and younger. If I'm trying to grab all of my children and escape when I'm being attacked or my family's being attacked, that's an impossibility. A person should be able to defend themselves, and Jake Cortez should be willing to come out on paper and say, I'm in support of this common sense legislation. Constitutional carry, it's the same thing. Constitutional carry just passed in Georgia, it passed in Alabama, it passed in Indiana, it passed in Ohio. The legislature passed it in Pennsylvania before it got vetoed by the Democrat governor out there. He should be willing to come out on paper and say, this is where I stand on constitutional carry, but he is refusing to fill out that Minnesota gun rights candidate questionnaire. And so I would say that constitutional carry is one of the easiest things that a Republican candidate should be able to support. They should be able to say very clearly, I love constitutional carry, so does the base, so do freedom-loving Minnesotans, I support this. On the other hand, when it comes to a so-called assault weapons ban, that should be the easiest thing for a Republican candidate or freedom-loving candidate. That should be the easiest one for them to say, I oppose that. That should be just a no-brainer. Nope, 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 nope. Under no circumstances, no. But he won't say a word about this so-called assault weapons ban. And then when it comes to mental health gun control, it's the same story. And so you ask yourself, well, why would one, Dr. Bill Lieske, fill it out 100% pro-gun and the other be so unwilling to go on record? Well, I'm going to put a few different pictures on the screen for you of Jake Cortez. And now these aren't necessarily issues in our wheelhouse, but it goes to show the character of the man that we're looking at here. There are some pieces that you're looking at right here that talk about his support for Governor Walz and the lockdowns. You have pictures, posts again of his on Facebook, on Twitter, where he's saying that he was staunchly opposed to Donald Trump when he ran for office, was mocking and ridiculing him. Yeah, he's in support of a bunch of grooming, child grooming, Pride Month stuff. Things that gun owners traditionally and conservative Minnesotans don't support those types of things. And if you look closely at them, in many ways they resemble more of a Democrat stance on these freedom issues and these sort of base level Second Amendment gun rights issues. So again, as gun rights supporters, it's very easy for somebody like Dr. Bill Lieske to say, oh yeah, stand your ground, constitutional carry, opposing assault weapons bans, like those are no-brainers. But with Jake Cortez, there's this whole list of different things that he has shown himself. Here's a picture of him in his Pfizer T-shirt, kind of double masked and wearing the Tim Walz sticker, like the whole thing. So and again, if I remember correctly, the local party did endorse Dr. Bill Lieske and did not endorse Jake Cortez. And so Jake Cortez is primarying Dr. Bill Lieske. So again, we got no candidate survey out of Jake Cortez. He won't tell gun owners where he stands. And Bill Lieske, on the other hand, has been very, very clear about where he stands on these issues. And so if you see Dr. Bill on the campaign trail, do us a favor, thank him for being being such a man of his word and being clear in his conviction about, this is what I am, I'm a conservative, I'm pro-gun, I love the Constitution, I love Senate District 58, I believe he lives in Lonsdale, not far from Northfield where I am right now. He loves this region, and thank him for saying, look, this is where I stand. If you like it, good. If you don't like it, well, this is where I stand. And so principle is a damn important thing in politics. They say in politics, they say, what's the difference between a Democrat and a rhino? It's like, well, a Democrat will look you in the face and tell you that he wants to take your guns. Rhinos just do this stuff in the background and pretend to be Republicans and pro-gun. And so Dr. Bill, he just came out and said, look, this is where I stand. Whether you support it or not, these are my convictions. And so thank him for having the courage of his convictions when it comes to these important issues. And tell Jake Cortez to apologize. He's not been acting very conservative. He's not been acting very pro-gun. His support of Governor Walz and left-leaning social issues, his refusal to fill out the Minnesota Gun Rights Candidate Questionnaire, all of these different things. Tell him he should apologize for those things. But as well as that, guys, do me a favor, share this video with your family and friends, share with everybody you know in Senate District 58. Again, this is the new district. It's been redistricted. I think we were Senate District 20 for the last how many years, but we're Senate District 58 now. So make sure this video gets sent to all of your pro-gun family and friends. And when you go out on August 9th, go out and vote pro-gun.